So from the previous video where I was trying to build out a full stack Solana application that helps you to build out a full-blown blockchain Solana front-end app with just a single prompt. So a couple of questions I've gotten is, how were you able to make your that work? And also some issues of how are you able to cater for when your AI agent forgets some things or fails. So which leads me to this series, context engineering. Basically, we want to talk about why AI agent fails in the first place, why some of them fail, why they tend to forget, and all that. Right. So if you've ever built or spoken to your ChatGPT for a very long time, and over time, or maybe using OpenClaw, and over time you discover that things started hallucinating by itself, it started forgetting things by itself. This video tends to help you understand why and what you can do in the future. I'm going to release other series, maybe around context in itself and how to model context, the best way to model context for your AI agent. But for this, let's get started. So for this video, we're going to do a short demo showing you the difference between having a context and what happens when you have a context and what happens when you don't have a context. So we're going to use this simple Nest.js project. As you can see, I'm using OpenAI, and basically what we want to see here is basically make two calls. We're going to make the first endpoint is going to be the naive endpoint, which doesn't really have the context of the project. And the second endpoint is going to be the context endpoint, which has full context of the project. So we're going to tell our AI models to tell us what this project is all about, right? So basically, just want to show you how contexts work and why it is important. All right, so it's a simple project. We have notes, just a simple notes project, nothing much. The major source of this project is basically in this agent path where we basically map things through. But before we proceed, I would like us to understand how LLMs work, right? How models work. Remember, quick intro, AI agent, they don't fail because of your model. Even if you're using Gemini, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Grok, or whatever to use it you're using as an AI agent, those things are not failing because they are not good enough. They are failing because they don't understand your environment, right? Remember that AI agents are stateless. AI agents don't understand. So if I'm going to give you a simple example, see AI agent as a blind man who has read all the book in the world, right? And you tell this blind man, hey, can you tell me about where you currently are right now or whatever, without giving him enough context. This blind man would not know, right? So that's how you should see AI models. Models are stateless. They don't understand their environment. They don't know what they are running on. They don't know you, except you give them this information before they can fully understand. Also, how you give them the information is also very important, because if you give your AI model poor information, it's going to give you poor results, garbage in, garbage out, right? So they basically fail because they don't understand the environment enough, right? So basically failure is when you now start seeing that it hallucinates, it starts saying things out of the blue and you get frustrated, right? I remember when I was working I'm still working on it though, sometimes I ask him, look, make sure that every output that I get from you is TypeScript compatible, like do not use any or whatever stuff you feel like you should use. And it works now, but after some time it stops. And the reason why that happens is because as then I've not figured out how context really work, right? Because it lost context, and also how you feed your data into your AI model is also very, very important, because you don't just want to send anything to it, right? It hallucinates, it will ignore constraints, it will claim success without checking, right? So you need to ensure that whatever you feed to an AI agent is solid. So you need to have the agent loop where you observe, you detect, you check, repeat that cycle, make sure that everything I send to you from a user side is always correct. And then the girls instead of observe. Of course, remember that AI models are not human beings. They are all mathematical probabilities. That's what you should know. They are not supernatural beings. They just work with maths. So the real problem when you fix AI agents is not in the prompt. I've seen a lot of people who say, what prompt did you use? How do you ensure that you have the best prompt? No. Because if you are building AI agent, you're basically formulating like a soul-like creature. You're saying, I want to be something that can act like a human being, right? If you give him just one prompt and expect him to do everything for you in one single prompt, you will be missing a lot, right? You need to give him enough idea of where it is and the environment it's constrained on, right? This is what OpenClaw did, right? It before you install OpenClaw, it will ask you if you want to give you access, right, to your whole computer. So, similar to models, right? The prompt is not the problem. If no matter how much you fine-tune the prompt, keep fine-tuning it, it will work for a very long time, but after it stops. If the model does not have context of this environment it's updating, for instance, a model can update a certain thing and then change to destroy what is has already updated correctly. Those type of problems. Right? So, yeah, prompts don't give agents awareness at all. Now, the first principle, before we go to our demo, is what is context? A context should define the task, its environment, which is the word. So the task is basically a simple prompt from the user. Say, hey, tell me about this project. That's a simple task that I want to fit to our AI model. But then for the AI model to understand this project, you need to give him some files, README, you need to give him some notes, give him some details of the project. You need to give it enough information to understand the project. Because like I told you before, AI models are stateless. They don't understand the environment they live in. Also, you need to tell it, if you want to do the best, you need to tell it the skill. How do you perform this task? Right? Because remember, they will guess for you if they don't understand a process. Do you want it to do some logical changes on your file? How should it do it? Do you want it to use a programming language? What programming language should it use? Those are what you define on your skill, right? Then persistent memory. Memory is very important, especially when you're building AI agents, because without memory, you will have a problem with context, and without context, your AI agent will give you gibberish or hallucinate a lot. So memory is what you persist by yourself, you control it by yourself. AI agents don't need to know about all your memory. You can use vector DBs or whatever, control the memory by yourself, but you're able to filter and figure out what is so important for the AI context at the point it is being called, right? Cool. So I think, cool. Chat histories are not context, right? Basically, if user keeps putting prompt to your tool, it doesn't mean that tool has enough context, right, for that project. A prompt can just be summarize this, and the next prompt would be tell me about file X, and the next point would be tell me about DB this. But if the AI agent or the AI model does not understand that environment, you are still going to have the same problem. So focusing more on just the prompt does not solve the game, does not solve the issue, because it's like you just saying, I want to just give it the best kind of prompt. That will work for just the first phase. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't understand what it's updating as an AI agent, because AI agents should have control of the environment it is running on. I mean, but you can specify what kind of control it will have. That's left to you. All right. So yeah, let's go to this demo. It's a simple project. Just basically, you can see I just added a simple note, right? Just tell me about this project. And what we did here, if you've ever written anything with Next.js, I use Next.js for this project. So simple. We just want to have our two routes, the naive route and the context route. We can ignore the memory route for now but that's how we save memory. So if we go to the naive route, basically you pass it a goal, which is your prompt, and we will go through this step. It has no environment access. Intentionally, we didn't do that because we want to show you the difference between having environment context and not having environment context, right? So you can see how we can just go to our AI summarize the OpenAI. You can see this is our OpenAI service, and with this service we're able to create a single method which gets the goal, gets the context passed by the caller, and with that you can say, okay, this is the goal, summarize this project based on what the user passed in. You can see it's an optional stuff, and then we check if there's a context available. If there is one, we do this, we add the context to the call. If there is none, we just add only the goals directly. All right, and you can see how we make our call, API call. We just call the completion method from OpenAI, and we pass him systems as a system engineer. The role is this. The content is this. You summarize the project, and then we pass the user's content. One sec. Cool. Then we pass the user content. So in this content, we also had, so if the user has a context, we basically had both the goal and the context together. If there is no context, we basically just had only the goal, right? And that's it. I mean, we can run through other things, but it doesn't really matter. In the next episode or part, I'm going to also show you how to work with context, because you don't want to pass everything to your AI model. Remember, there's something called context window for every AI model. I think for OpenAI it's like 120k now. That may be a lot, but remember that if you pass too much to your context at the same time, it will do a lot of processing of those inputs, tokenizing those inputs. At the same time, it's going to forget some things in the middle. So you don't want to pass a lot, but that will be the next tutorial. So I think we can make a call. You can see I've tried some already. So we are calling the naive route. If you can see where we get the route from here, we are calling the naive route. This naive route did not pass context. It didn't pass context of this project. This basically, this is it, right? It didn't pass any context of this project. So we're going to just say summarize. The goal is to just summarize the project for us. When we make this call, the output is, please provide the details of this project you would like to summarize, right? And we just I just added just simple traces just for whatever. So there was no environment access, there was nothing to it. So basically it's going to fail. There's nothing to this. Now, if we go to the context side, I've already made a call, but I'm going to do it again. You can see that it changes. It changed because we're making a real API call. So the context agent demo project is a simulated code base designed to showcase context engineering in an AI demonstration video. It allows an AI agent to effectively interpret files by following a structured process, listing files, selecting the primary document, reading it, summarizing, and whatever. You can see this one understands this project. And this is the beginning of understanding how to build an AI agent, right? Remember, AI models do not really understand. They are all stateless. They need full-blown context of the environment. I guess this is it for this video. Just wanted to show you guys how this works. So if you have any question, you can just let me know. Bye for now.